All right. Here we are, another Good Gut Live. Exciting stuff. It's frustrating with some of the live stuff, just because meta's always changing and oh my gosh. But if you're watching live, I appreciate it. It's harder than ever to watch live. And we are live on Instagram, I believe Kick and Facebook and YouTube and all that good stuff. But we appreciate you watching live, even though it's getting harder and harder. It's getting harder and harder to like simulcast and go live on different areas, at least from what we're seeing. So we might change the format. We might change the format of Good Gut Live. We might have to change the name because we might not do it live anymore and just go on our podcast. We appreciate you all watching or listening on the podcast as well, wherever you find podcasts. Today's topic is one that we get lots of questions on. It's one that there's always controversy. And again, controversy is not a bad word. Controversy just means a public differing of opinion that's usually very heated, that's very public and out there and open. So that's what controversy means. So there's always controversy on everything. Everyone always disagrees or has a different perspective and opinion, and that's okay. That is fine. So thanks for you guys watching live on Instagram. Shout out. Hi, everybody. I'll see questions coming in, but we're going to be talking about, will eating more animals or do you need more animals to heal your gut, to help with your gut health? Is eating more animals the way to go? Is the raw milk the way to go? Is, you need to eat meat. Steak is multivitamin. You hear all these things, and I think now more than ever, these industries are coming back with campaigns and with great marketing. And look, I'm not gonna sit here. I mean, you guys know we've been plant-based for a very long time, but we're not dogmatic. We're not like about sides or about, I don't know, being in a certain camp, or we are ubiquitous in a way, in a sense of, again, you probably heard us say this very often, we like to take the good of Western medicine, of Eastern modalities, of plant-based, of functional nutrition, and just kind of mesh it together. A majority of our patients are not plant-based. Shocker. But that doesn't mean we're saying, all right, you're not plant-based, or all right, you have to be plant-based. We're just going, what's best for the patient? And we're using evidence. And you guys know, if you're following us or have been listening to us, like we promote lots of plants. Like we're just looking at the research and what works. So that's what we're going to be getting into a little bit further today, and just reiterating. And if you've heard this before, see you later on the next podcast. If not, maybe you'll learn something new, or there'll be a good point or a question. Who knows? But really, what I want to get into is just what we've been seeing lately, right? What we've seen over the course of our career, what we've been seeing lately and hearing lately. And there's just a lot of confusion of like, I'm adding more animal products back. My gut is a mess. Stress. There's so much going on in the world that can stress you out as well. Stress is such a major factor when it comes to your health. So I think before I get into this, take a deep breath with me. It's so important to breathe. It's so important to just remember where you are, who you are, what you are. It's so important to pray, say a little prayer. Dear Lord, bless this time, bless this community, help us, guide us, speak truth, help me to speak truth, and may your Holy Spirit speak through me. That's so important, guys. We're sharing that more and more because we've been doing this. This is how we help people. This is how we've started our private practice and have overcome a lot of stress and trauma in our life, because everyone has it. Nobody's life is perfect. No matter what you see on Instagram or TikTok or wherever, nobody has a perfect life, or everything just doesn't come easy. And we all work, and that's great. You can find joy and peace and in the work. And this ties into what we're talking about. I think it's odd, and we're seeing this more and more, whether it's the raw milk, the raw dairy, the meat, and for a while it's like raw meat, eat this, for your health, and do this. And like, we're seeing all the people with their cutting boards with egg and raw meat and liver and all this stuff, and butter, eat sticks of butter. And it's like, why are we seeing this? And it goes back to finding peace in the work, finding peace in doing the hard work. And that's how you build muscle. That's how you look strong and big and healthy. And that's how you build your cardio. It's doing the hard work. So for a long time, we've been promoting, hey, if you're having these symptoms are a blessing. It's not running from the symptoms. And we see adding more, so turning away from plants and adding more animals is like you're running away from the symptoms flat out. And I will, whatever you want to call it, debate anyone, stand on this. I mean, the research is there, the evidence is there. It's so important. It just seems weird and wrong because it's extremely painful and it's difficult. This is not, we are here not promoting the easy road, okay? The road we are promoting is not easy. The road we are promoting is one in which you work hard to figure out what's going on. You work hard to do the testing. You work hard to understand your symptoms. You work hard to reincorporate the plant foods. You work hard to feel better. It's not just, okay, I want to, and it's very similar, right? I want to eliminate plants so my symptoms seem to go away. It's very similar to like taking a pill to mask the symptoms, but the root cause is still there, right? It's very similar to when you see this weed growing and you just lawnmower it or weed whack it, whatever, you just cut the top off, but the root of the weed is still there. So a couple of days later, it grows back. And then you cut it again. And then a couple of days later, it grows back and you cut it again. This is like the sticks of butter, the meat. Forget the asparagus and the broccoli and the plants, and grains are bad. Greens are bad because of oxalates, whatever, whatever you want to say. This is like going, okay, I'm gonna eliminate all these plant foods. I'm just gonna eat things with no fiber. Fiber's bad. I'm gonna just really just drastically decrease my fiber intake. Oh, I feel so much better. And I lost 60 pounds and I lost all this weight, and my abs are showing. And on the outside, things look really good. On the outside, these things are happening where it's like, oh, my bloating's gone, my gas is gone, all these things are wonderful. And like, I don't know what's going on up there. um anyway, all these things are happening and wonderful, and it's like, is that what's really going on, or is that just the surface level? Is that just the top of the weed that looks like it's cut off but the root is still there? And that's what we really want to hammer in and let you know. Yes, that is the case. If you're just eliminate, and if you are just eliminate, never getting to the root, never reintroducing plants, never going, okay, I'm back to eating the cruciferous vegetables and the grains and the nuts and seeds and the beans, right? The beans and the peas and lentils and all of that, then you didn't get to the root. Honestly, like point blank, it's like if you're still having to avoid beans and it's been 5 months, okay, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, five, and you keep going and going, and pretty soon it's like a decade of like eliminate. Something's wrong. We need to get to the root, and adding the animals, relying just on animals and being in that echo chamber of like, yeah, I'm just going to eat more and more animals is not the solution. Okay. I'm not even getting into environment. I'm not getting into the ethics of it. I'm just getting into just the health and the heavily reviewed research, right? Where we do need fiber. Fiber is the essential carbohydrate. It will be touted as that one day. As there's still a lot of early research, right? These prebiotics you hear a lot about, that's fiber, different types of prebiotics, right? What they're doing is so important in your body. It is necessary for your body to function. And yes, and that's why we hear this all the time of people messaging going like, I'm carnivore and I feel great, or I haven't eaten fiber and I feel great. It's like, well, you haven't eaten fiber and you feel great for now. Is a carnivore like diet or adding tons of animal products going to be conducive long term? And from the evidence we have now, it's like no, that's not the case. That's not like a longevity diet. That is not a super, healthy, especially from a gut standpoint, cardiovascular standpoint. I mean, you name it, different systems in the body, endocrine standpoint. That's not long-term health promotion. Okay. That is that is kind of just an illusion, right? And it's the same. I would put whatever you want to call it. I know there's so many names. An animal-based diet, a carnivore diet, a keto diet, into the illusion bucket of the medication, the pharmaceutical industry going like, just take these pharmaceuticals and you're all better. That's in the same bucket. Just take all these animal products and you're much better. Just take all these pharmaceuticals and you're much better. Even just take all these supplements and you're much better without really knowing what you're doing. Just relying on these things to be like, there, your symptoms are gone, you're all better, is in that illusion bucket, right? And so you need proper context to be like, okay, let's not just go with this illusion of like my symptoms are gone, therefore I'm better. It's, the real question is not, are my symptoms gone? Is, did I get to the root? Do I understand how I got here in the first place? Do I understand why my health was the way it was in the first place, which led me to have these gut issues? Did I take the time to listen to my body? Did I take the time to appreciate these symptoms and listen to these symptoms and follow them of where they're telling you to go? Your body is talking to you through symptoms, and it's going to tell you where to go via the symptoms. Your body is smart. Symptoms aren't there just to be a nuisance and they're annoying and they're trying to wreck your life. Symptoms are there to lead you to the solution. And this is what's crazy, is this is the same practice in the environment. A permaculture, a permaculturist, a regenerative farmer knows symptoms of the land are leading you to the solution. The same is true inside your gut. Someone saying, I had SIBO after COVID, after HYPN. I don't know if that's an acronym, but or you're saying after it happened, or please clarify. But yes, I had seen, and so why we're seeing this rise, and this is another bit after COVID, after this virus, um, your virome. So a lot of people don't, and we've talked about this before. So I apologize if you're like, I've heard this before, but we try not to say it over and over again. But your virome is important. Your virome is deeply connected to your gut microbiome. Your virome is actually helping your gut microbiome on a daily basis. Your virome is just collection of viruses in, on, and around your body that are helping to keep you in balance and keep you healthy. So when something, whatever, I mean, there's a lot of information on COVID right now, whether it was manufactured or released or whatever it was, whether it was natural or just a part of this just crazy beast going on. But COVID was a massive virus that was like, whoa, it was a shock to a lot of people's system. I remember when I got COVID, I got pretty sick. Like, I was like, I don't get sick. So that's why when I got sick, I was like, whoa. And I did lose my smell and my taste. And I was like, this is freaky. Like, that was wild. Like, I've never experienced anything. Then you come out of it and you're like, oh wow, I feel great. And I've only got COVID once. And since then it's like, okay, your body adjusts, your microbiome adjusts, your virome adjusts, and it's almost like a software update, right? Um, I want to, so yeah, to that point, going back to what I saw, and this all makes sense, right? It's like, okay, yes, you're going to get a lot more dysbiosis because now your virome is thrown off. And so if you're barely hanging on with your bacteria and all these other microbes, and you were kind of in dysbiosis, now when you get this massive shift in your virome, it can throw you in further disarray. Now you have full on SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. You can have SIFO, small intestinal fungal overgrowth. These are real things. Your doctors and many out there still don't want to recognize these things, and that's okay. But this is, again, following these symptoms as we go further and further down the rabbit hole. Thankfully, there are researchers, and shout out to like Dr. Mark Pimentel and all these wonderful doctors and researchers going, no, we're following these symptoms down the rabbit hole. We want to get to where this is coming from. We want to truly help people overcome and dive deeper, not just be like, oh, you're gas and bloated, here, take Miralax and take, get on a PPI, proton pump inhibitor, because you're getting that heartburn. Oh, you haven't pooped in a couple of days. Here's a suppository. And, just rely. It's as kooky as just relying on all these medications and asking the question, wait, why do I need these medications? That's as kooky as going, I'm just going to eat sticks of butter and raw meat and not ask, why do I now need to eat sticks of butter and raw meat? Like, wait a minute. as if anyway, so it's just as kooky. So instead we say let's go deeper and let's understand. Common vagus nerve, of course, supplements, but my gut is still not 100%. Yeah. Still bloated in the large intestine. Yeah. So there can be a lot of things. And this can happen from a massive virus. This can happen from even a massive bacterial um, inoculation, right? AKA food poisoning. I got inoculated with some type of amoeba scuba diving, and I'm prone to that. I don't know why, but if I'm not careful scuba diving, or especially if I'm in warm water, because here in California, our water is pretty cold. It's not like in Mexico or in other tropical areas. So even the water temperatures will harbor and grow different types of bacteria, microbes, amoebas, you name it. So I'm native to California. I'm used to cold water, right? Wetsuit, not really scuba diving, more just like swimming, surfing, whatever. When I go to warm, I'm like, wow. And I'm probably going, wow, underwater, opening my mouth. And my body's like, wait, what are all these microbes? And I have to be very careful because I've gotten sick before. And that sickness, again, for a healthy person, I'm usually sick for a day. Oops, open my mouth, swallowed some water. Oops. And then I'm good. But for if you're on the brink, if you're going on vacation in the warm water and you're coming from stressful work and health problems and dysbiosis already, maybe you have SIBO and IBS and all, and then you're opening your mouth in that water, it can wreck you for weeks, months, even years, right? You're getting almost that food poisoning, right? That gastroenteritis that just starts this inflammatory cascade, and your weakened gut can't take care of it. The answer is not a stick of butter. The answer is going, okay, why is my gut weakened? Well, 95% of the US is already low in fiber. We already have Western medicine. So if you think carnivore, keto, and all that is anti-Western medicine, Western medicine has already been dictating, saying go on a low residue diet for these conditions. Residue is fiber. Western medicine has been saying go on a low fiber diet, even though 95% of the American population and even other first world countries are already on a low fiber diet. Western medicine has been saying go on a lower fiber diet. And now we're getting this like innovative carnivore movement going like go on an even lower fiber diet. So it's like, how does this make sense, guys? Please explain it to me, right? Because the issue is that we are on an already low fiber diet, right? The issue is not saying, oh, you're on a low fiber diet, go on an even lower. It's like we're doubling down, right? It's just like what we're doing right now, spending our country's in debt and we're trying to fix it. Let's spend more money to fix it. And it's like, what? It's all this, oh, we're spraying pesticides on our food. The solution is more pesticides. Oh, we are taking medication. The solution is more medication. Oh, the list can go on and on of this insanity. And that's why we're in this insane world, because we are doubling down instead of taking a second to reflect and go, okay, this is literally the definition of insanity, of doing the same thing over and over again and getting not only the same result, but the same result that's getting worse and worse and worse. Maybe we should take a second, breathe, reflect, and make the appropriate changes, right? So it's very important to do that both individually and collectively. And again, I know we can talk about all these bigger issue topics, but we're believers. You start with yourself. Then if you're married or what, you start with your family, or if you have kids or what, and you slowly work your way out, right? So teach yourself how to swim, and then you can teach others how to swim. That is very important. But after COVID, my gut is still not healed, but the SIBO is gone. Thank God. Yes, beautiful. Yeah, and so if SIBO's gone, that's great. You might not be perfect, and it'll take time, and depending who you're working with, but work with someone knowledgeable. And even in our area, guys, like we are more integrative functional. So technically what we practice is integrative functional. It's IFMNT. It's integrative functional medical nutrition therapy. We're registered dietitians. We are certified. We take PPO insurance. We have to follow HIPAA and all these laws and regulations in the state of California and in other states, but we are more integrative. We love that. We see the value in that. However, there are some out there where it's like we had a patient recently come to us, and someone who's more functional, air quotes for those just listening, just I mean gave them like 28 supplements, and it's like why? And then the patient didn't even know why. And it's like, what's going on here? And I get it. Like, yeah, we love supplements. They're very useful, but at the same time, we have to be careful and not. It's just as kooky to say we're just going to rely on all these supplements and micromanage all of our nutrition through supplements. It's like, no, 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 no. That's going to drive you insane, and that's usually what it does. So we have to really be careful with that. Ooh, yeah. Someone saying I have histamine issues and estrogen dominance as well as feel like I can't eat anything. Ooh, yes. And so this is another piece. And so staying on topic with this because we can definitely stay on topic and answer this question. Animal products can be extremely high histamine, especially dairy. So a lot of people think dairy is just the lactose, and I'm just going to take a lactate and or now there's milks without the lactose. So there you go. Or right, and lactate is just taking the lactase enzyme, and I'm all good and great. Dairy, it's just about that sugar that I can't process. No, dairy is much more than that. Dairy, especially fermented, and you think like, oh well, fermented's better. We're going to ferment the cheese or age the cheese and all of this. That drastically increases histamines. And so if you're sensitive to histamines. There's also histamine intolerance. There's also MCAS, right? So there's a lot more we're learning about histamines, and histamines are kind of like the foot soldiers and kind of like the foot soldiers who are activating and sending the messages throughout the body, right? There's histamines in food. And I just want to always say histamines aren't bad, just like bacteria aren't bad, just like even viruses aren't bad. But in the wrong context, when you're out of balance, right, they can cause problems. And so if you're having histamine problems and then you're following someone going just eat tons of butter and parmesan cheese and steak and age your liver in this jar and eat it fermented, and I mean those the amount of histamine in that food is, I mean, off the charts. And so you're going to feel terrible, like flat out. You're going to feel horrible if you're having histamine problems. And for those that are like, what the heck are histamines? How do I even know if I have histamine problems? It's usually it falls in that allergy, but really, and we've talked about this before, go back and watch, just type in histamine if you're on Good Gut Live podcast or even on YouTube, type in married to health histamine. You'll see it. Really, we dive deep into this and show you what this is. But so go back and do that, or reach out to us, marriedhealth.com, if you want like one-on-one help with that, because that is really what we've been specializing in for a long time is helping people get into the weeds of this with the goal of saying, oh, this is how I eat those histamine rich plant foods again. Because the plant foods are going to have a synergistic effect to not only help you reintroduce more foods, and the way they're doing that is by helping to rebuild your gut microbiome, helping to rebuild the structure, the function, and the population. Animal products do not technically do that, right? Especially if you're already suffering with symptoms. Animal products may feel good at first, but long term, it doesn't feel good. A quick analogy, guys, we've used this a lot, is the debt analogy. You're in debt, it doesn't feel good. It feels good to avoid the debt because you're like, I'm just going to rip up the notices. I'm avoiding the phone calls, block, delete. Okay, I'm going to spend my money elsewhere, whatever. The debt is still there. Just because you're turning off the notifications, just because you're muting the symptoms, just like the phone calls or the emails or the notifications on your debt, it doesn't mean the debt's gone. It just means you're not hearing it. That's the same with your symptoms. Just because you're eating sticks of butter now and your symptoms are muted, that doesn't mean they're gone. That means they're still there causing problems, just like the debt. The uncomfortable, hard, boring, tedious, painstaking. I can keep going with right, all the hard stuff, all the hard names and synonyms. That's what it's like dealing with your GI problems, or really just any of your health problems head on. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes resources, but the payoff, just like paying off the debt and you go, "Oh, finally, you're actually debt free. You actually have a good credit score. Now you soon can buy that car and buy that and like actually pay it off and have a great credit score and feel good. All that stress is like lifted, right? Same with your health. I would say health is even more important. I'm pretty sure a lot of us out there are struggling with some type of debt, right? With this crazy economy. Even but knowing your health, I mean that's almost like we carry that on our shoulders, being on or knowing like I should go to the doctor for this. Oh man, I my stomach isn't right. Every time I eat, fill in the blank, it could be anything. Every time I eat this, oh, what is that? That sharp pain that freaks me out. What is that? I should really get that checked out. Nah, I don't have time. I don't have money. I don't have the, and so it just stays on you. When that is lifted off and you actually take the time and you actually are like, okay, I'm gonna just set aside some funds and really take care of this. That's why we do what we do. That is the beauty of seeing that lifted off our patients and going, oh, now I don't have to miss work. Now I can actually focus at work. Now I can actually, oh wow, I don't even like what I'm doing. I'm gonna switch careers. Now you that like brain fog, the fuzziness is lifted and you can focus, right? A little bit. And that's a beautiful thing. Um, so yeah, so histamine issues can be overcome. I know I went down a rabbit hole there, but histamine issues can be overcome. Um, and it's even connected to that estrogen dominance as well. So that's very interesting. And yes, it is a tough journey. So yeah, all of you on this journey, I feel for you. We know, and that's how we got here. We got here because of Dahlia, our co-founder and our lead dietitian's journey. Like I remember going through all of this with her. Um, I know. I feel you also. Please work with a functional medicine doctor and you'll feel better. Yeah, a lot of functional medicine doctors are great. A lot of we're seeing more integrative gastroenterologists, which is wonderful. We need more of that. Where they're going, yeah, SIBO's a real thing, SIFO's a real thing, ISO, all of these types. Really, all of those fall under the umbrella of dysbiosis. So very important to understand that. I'm working with a functional doc and naturopath to work on the stress emotional component, looking for someone to help with the food component. You're in the right place, married to health. So really we have Dahlia and Rachel, who are two dietitians who see a lot of patients, and we get into the weeds. So this is the food component because we work with gastros, we love endocrinologists, we love primary care doctors, all a lot of our friends and colleagues. We are dietitians. We are integrative functional dietitians who take the time to go deep into the food to no, not a single one of our patients is the same as the next patient. It's all, you guys are all unique and customized. To say, oh, you're having issues with FODMAPs, therefore remove all high FODMAP foods. We don't do that. We identify which FODMAP food is giving you the most, maybe let's say problems right now because you're in a bad place, and we identify that and help you overcome that while keeping in the other FODMAP food. The other FODMAP foods are going to be helpful. The other FODMAP foods are going to help you get in what you can't of the FODMAP foods. The other high histamine foods are going to help you one day embrace other high histamine foods, right? And so it's really building back the microbiome that helps you process the histamines, that helps you process the FODMAPs, right? These components of food are actually broken down and digested by your microbes, right? Even if we're talking about sulfur and histamines, FODMAPs, the list goes on, and oxalates and all of that, they are broken down by your microbes. If you love and help your microbes in the right way, you will then be able to tolerate these foods. But there is a method. Everyone's different, everyone's unique. So if you need help with that, I mean, you're here. If you're listening to this, this is your sign, and you need help with that. We're here. Um, handle. Yeah, I'm seeing you guys are. I love it. This is also true for kids. We're seeing a lot more kids who have dysbiosis. We're seeing a lot more kids that can't tolerate. ARFID is an interesting. Uh, um, Interesting diagnosis. Again, it's very unique. We're gonna have some really cool guests on the podcast. I guess just a preview, and we're gonna reach out. This is very early preview, but There's a guest we want to have on and she's really cool, found her on Instagram. She's trying to heal her IBD using hookworms. So that gets into a whole realm of parasites and how parasites can be useful. Again, it's the right balance and it's the right species. Very interesting. There's also, I mean, autism is just out there. There's also an influencer, I guess, or educator who has autism, and he's raising awareness on ARFID and autism, and going, why is it that we're having these kids with, now I want to say this properly, so I want to have him on because again, I'm getting very interested in RFID and going down that rabbit hole and going like, a lot of what's out there is hyper processed food, and there's a reason why when you have SIBO dysbiosis and even RFID or some of these kind of just emotional components with food, psychological components with food, textural and temperature, and a lot of these issues with food, the ultra processed food feels better. The ultra processed food feels better because it's devoid of the fiber. The fiber is activating some of the histamines. The fiber is activating, or I should say, fiber is activating some of the histamine receptors. I'm going kind of nerdy on this, but anyway, we'll get into that. If you guys are interested in that, let us know. We'll talk more on that. But the point with that is going, when a child is having issues, bringing in the healthy foods, bringing in the high fiber foods, bringing in the foods that are going to have a long-term sustainable healthy effect on the gut barrier, right? On the gut population, on the gut brain connection. So a lot of these emotional or even cognitive behavioral issues also can be helped in a tremendous way. We know that. We know there's a gut brain connection. We know that a lot of what's happening up here in our mind is connected to what's happening in the gut. So continuing that connection when it comes to our kids is huge, huge, huge. Um, Sending love from the Netherlands. Cool. I have to clean the house after that sleeping time. Yeah, I don't know what time it is for you in the Netherlands right now, but definitely do your chores and get some sleep. But I appreciate you commenting and participating. Love it. If we can't eat animal protein, do you recommend a protein powder? So look, that's a great question, and we're not here saying never eat animals. I mean, the majority, or I should say, a lot of great research is Mediterranean, and in the Mediterranean diet, the Mediterranean lifestyle. Dahlia's Egyptian, so she comes from the Mediterranean region. They are eating some animal products, some lean fish, lean meats, and even a little bit of dairy. But I would say we do further enhance that. And if you are eating animal products, this really speaks to majority of your diet should be plants. And then the animal products, if you're consuming them, should be the highest quality possible. And I know that's already like, that's so expensive. So I think of like, when I see high quality animal products, I think of our farmers market, or like I've looked, I'm like, what are they selling over here? Like a piece of fish is like $27, right? And it's like local because we're here by the coast. And you go like, wow, that's really expensive. It's like, yeah, yeah, high quality is very expensive. That's why you have, if you're eating animals, very little, and then a majority of that plate. So let's say you went to the farmer's market and you're building a plate, if you are getting that little piece of fish, right? Then the rest you're making the quinoa, and you're getting, oh, seasonal. What's seasonal right now? Passion fruit, a melon, and maybe make a nice melon tomato salad with lemon and lemon zest and a sprinkle of rock salt. And then you're doing quinoa, or you're doing a roasted sweet potato hash, and you're and that's giving you resistant starch and complex carbohydrates and polyphenols to feed your gut. Again, majority, 80 to 90% of your plate are plants, and you're enjoying that little $27 fish, right? Um, if you're doing animal products. If you're not, what protein are you getting? I mean, beans, peas, lentils. A big protein source for me is tempeh and tofu. I just love it. It's so easy. You can get that organic. You can get that very easily. Yes, it's processed, but I'm talking about ultra processed, hyper refined foods. Technically, cashew milk is processed, but cashew milk's great, right? So you can find these protein sources. And yeah, and if you're working out a lot, you can find a great protein powder as well. That's also just very easy. and there's really good ones. If you go to we know we get a lot of these questions. If you go to marriedhealth.com and look on our shop page, we have a lot of free downloads. I know it says shop, but it's just where you can download stuff. We have our Good Gut shopping guide, and make sure you're on our email list because that's going to be updated where we'll show you just if we're buying products. A lot of the times we're buying at the farmers market, we're buying as local as possible. But yeah, I mean, we buy products, we get busy, and it's not a perfect world. Um, so yeah, we have that guide for you to just take a look at, like, what protein do we use and what, what other items are we using. So yeah, and that's where, even though really the topic for today is do we need to eat more? And I hope you're kind of summation understanding all of this is saying no, right? Like, it's as foolish to say we need to eat more animal products as saying we need more medication. We need to spend more money in this country. We need to, right? I made that point earlier, but it's as foolish as saying all of that. Like, the answer to our problems is not more of what got us into these problems, right? The answer to our problems is, like we said, and we did a whole episode on this, kind of the steps to take, but like, is first and foremost assessing, like, wow, what are these symptoms? Why am I feeling bloated after I eat this or that? What is going on here? And that's usually, and that is a big chunk of what we do with our patients, is just saying, what's your health story, right? Have you taken time to understand this? Do you realize you weren't breastfed? Do you realize how many rounds of antibiotics have you taken? How, what's been going on to where now you feel like, and we get the people who are coming off the carnivore diet and the keto diet, et cetera, and going like, I've been doing this for 6 months or even a year or two, and at first it was good, but now I'm kind of stuck. I found myself in a really bad spot. I'm only able to eat like 4 types of food. We've had those stories, we have those patients, and then we help them get out of that hole they kind of dug themselves into. So it's going like, is that the answer? Just sticks of butter and more meat and even raw meat and this and that. And it's like, no, because you see even some of the big proponents of this early on adding in honey and fruit and vegetables and these things. They're adding fruits and vegetables to their diet because they need these things, because they're finding they don't feel well with these things after years and years on a high animal diet. And yes, I completely understand. Just to, I mean, touch on this a little bit, it's very different to, again, the high quality farmers market animal products are very different from the average, but most of you, especially in the US, are getting the average, are exposed to the average. Not all of you are living in the Santa Monica, farmers market and able to go there every day, or here in Orange County at the farmers market. Not many of you have access to that. Some of you out more in the rural areas, the rancher, and they're, maybe you are, or you're hunting or something. Okay, not the average, especially American, is not exposed to that. The average American, I would say, is fast food, is Walmart, is Costco, is like, you're getting your meat mass produced. So there is a big difference, and not just meat. I would just categorize that all animal products are mass produced. And so this is another point, 2 points here is it's mass produced. So that one point, there's a big difference of the small batch local farmer producing whatever, a fish or an animal product, versus the mass produced animal products. Point two is, again, kind of the lunacy, and a little bit of like, think about this for a second. Those promoting to eat more animal products, that's how we got the mass produced animal products, is because the US wasn't always this massive consumer of animal products. We used to eat a more Mediterranean, especially going back to my ancestors. I have Native American ancestors, I have Hispanic ancestors, majority of people throughout the world, because meat wasn't this massive commodity, or animal products wasn't this massive commodity, majority of us ate a more plant-based diet. It's only as we industrialize, it's only as we started to be like, I like fried chicken and steak, and even like, chicken and waffles, and we started just wanting more and more animal products. The way to do that was to mass produce on an industrial scale. That's how we got concentrated animal feeding operations. That's how we got into the mess of just, I mean, inoculating our animals with all the vaccines, with all of the medications, with all of the antibiotics, getting to such a scary place, which has been happening for about 100 years now. Really, the last 100 years, we've taken our food production, and especially when it comes to animal products, to a very scary place. Why? To accommodate all of the animal products people want to eat. So here you have online saying, eat more animal products. Well, how? I mean, we're gonna have to then ramp up on an industrial scale the number of animals we produce, which is already in the billions. I mean, just the US alone, we consume billions and billions of animals. So, like, how much more for everyone to go carnivore, for those touting the solution to your gut problems, go carnivore, the solutions to all your health problems, eat more animals. Then we're going to need to ramp up even more animal production, right? For us and the rest of the world. Does that make sense? Or does it make sense to say, what's seasonal in your area, right? What can you grow in your backyard? What can you grow in that empty lot next to you? Can we make more community gardens? Can we make more regenerative farms where you can grow, I mean, in abundance, such a variety of delicious and healthy fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and beans and peas and and the list goes on of all different colors and varieties. Is that more sustainable? Yeah, I would say that is more sustainable, where you get, and then the bonus of that is going, hey, if we can grow all these great things in our community and really promote either you yourself growing the food or getting together as a collective, right? That's where CSA programs come in. Does anyone let me know? Does anyone do a CSA box, right? So this is like a local farmers come together and make a box of just seasonal produce that you can get. We have CSA programs in our area. We just usually go to our farmers market and do our own thing, but you can also get a CSA box delivered. And that's the whole point of that, is going, hey, we grow really great squash. Oh, we have really great apples. Oh, when watermelon season comes, we have the best watermelons. Hey, let's all get this box and a subscription so more people can get access to that. That's the whole point, right? And so again, the benefit of that is when you're growing local, you're cleaning the air as well. You're helping the soil absorb more water when it rains. You're helping the soil microbiome, which then helps the human microbiome. The food is healthier, more nutritious, and better. Well, I got people come after me for that. I can't say organic or regenerative is more nutritious, but what I can say is there's more anti-cancer properties. That's in studies. What I can say is that those who eat organic have less pesticide residue in their urine and blood. So I have to be careful with what I say because I'll get people come after me. But there are clear studies that show if you're eating local, whether you want to call it certified organic or regenerative, whatever you want to call it, but the point is they're not spraying a bunch of synthetic pesticides. They're not, completely saturating the ground with genetically modified seed and Roundup and all of that. Then you don't have pesticide residues in your urine and your blood and all of that, right? So it's a lot better. And I would say that leads to wonderful health outcomes, but the science isn't clear on that. But I would, yeah, there's a lot of great science on that. So all that to say, you're getting a lot of bonuses with growing more plants, with doing that in a healthy way. Can you say the same with adding more animals? Maybe some will say, yeah, hey, there's some case studies out there, but is it sustainable to eat the amount of animals that these people online want you to eat? I would argue no, right? And even right now, it's not sustainable. Like, whatever you want to, whatever's out there right now. I mean, there's just meat and cheese and everything, especially fast food, right? And this is what a lot of our youth are eating. This is why we're seeing a rise in colon cancer. This is why we're seeing a rise in cancer in general. This is why we're seeing a rise in so many chronic diseases, is because our animals are sick. Therefore, the people eating the animals will be sick. I mean, just to put it simply. So if our animals are sick and low quality, if you decide to eat those animals, you will be sick and low quality, and that will be the state of your health. So, um, we get into this way more deeply. Go back, just type in plant-based married to health, or plant-based for GI issues. We get into the science of structure, function, population, of a lot of really great studies. There's more to come, guys. If you are not connected with us, go to marriedtohealth.com. Stay tuned, follow, do all those things. But more importantly, get on our email list, because we're going to be speaking at conferences. We're going to be speaking at the Plant-Based Nutrition and Healthcare Conference coming up in September. We're going to be doing an awesome regenerative farm event. That's linked in our bio, or you can go to marriedtohealth.com where you can just plug in. We're going to eat really amazing food. We're going to learn amazing things, not just from people who wrote a book or are just speaking, but people who actually practice here in Southern California, who see patients, who day in and day out are tweaking and modifying these amazing protocols. And they're going to share with you what actually works, what you can do in your everyday life. That's the whole point of the regenerative nutrition and gut health experience. That's the whole point, is like, what do I do? How do I do it? What do I eat? And just getting to the root, right? Getting to it. Like, okay, great. This theory, okay, yes, there might be a slide. Okay, I'm learning, but like, what do I do now? How do I do it? That's what it's all about. You're going to eat it, smell it, taste it. You can touch the soil, pick the apple. You're going to be on the farm. That's what we want to do. So that is coming up in October. Plantrition, so that is also in September. And then we're doing another cool retreat in Kansas City. So we're excited about that. So we're doing it, guys. This is our passion. This is what we love to do, is empower you with just the context, the knowledge, the kind of the middle ground of going, you don't have to eat 5 sticks of butter every day, and you don't, have to take 50 supplements a day. Again, especially if you don't know why or what the heck's going on. We want you to know what's going on, to feel assured in your action plan and know, okay, if you are taking a supplement, this is why. If you are modifying your diet, this is why. But the ultimate goal is to not say plants are bad. The goal is to say, how can I add more plants? How can I make my gut microbiome stronger, so then my family's gut microbiome is stronger? How can I overcome my IBS or IBD or SIBO, whatever, so that way my kids don't have to deal with this in the future, or their kids don't have to deal with this in the future? And then once you're good, you can go, let's start a garden. Let's grow this in our backyard or our balcony, or wherever. Oh wow, there is a CSA box in my neighborhood. Let me support these farmers, right? And get some really amazing produce, because now I can tolerate that produce. I can eat watermelon with the fructose not bloating me and making me feel terrible, right? How did I do that? We're integrative dietitians. This is what we do. We get into the weeds and go, you're going to eat watermelon again. You're going to eat beans again. You're going to eat these plant foods again. It's not the foods that are gassy. There's no gassy foods, just gassy people, right? And so we're blaming the foods, but we got to look at ourselves and look inward, look into our guts, look into our gut microbiome, and go, oh, okay, I finally understand what's going on. I'm getting to the root. It was my pelvic floor, it was my thyroid, it was, oh, that surgery I had, it was those antibiotics, it was, oh my gosh, I'm exposed to mold. There's so many, and it goes even deeper than all of that. But it's way more than just saying, oh, I need this medication, I need a PPI, and don't get me wrong, some of those can work in there. But what I'm saying is, medications, you're just stuck on a medication for years or the rest of your life as if it's normal. It's not, right? Why does it take me 3 to 4 hours every day to have a bowel movement? First, I appreciate you sharing that very intimate detail. First and foremost, thank you. We love talking about bowel movements, right? So it shouldn't take you 3 to 4 hours every day to have a bowel movement. That's straining. You are constipated. That is constipation, right? Your bowel movements, you shouldn't even push. You should feel the urge of like, oh, like I wake up in the morning, for the most part, I cuddle with Dahlia. We do a nice little spiritual, Bible reading, and then eventually I'm like, oh, I gotta go. Like, you feel it, and when you are having a nice bowel movement, you sit. If you have a squatty potty, you can put your legs up. For those watching, I'm putting my legs up on my chair, right? And you can do that. I typically don't. It just it just comes out. You're not pushing, you're not straining. When you push, think of like a muscle. When if imagine if I'm constantly curling my muscle and I'm just imagine if I'm constantly doing that. Your muscle's going to get fatigued and tight if you're doing the wrong form, your neck and so if you're straining and pushing your pelvic floor is going to overcompensate. It's going to always be tight and it's going to further worsen your constipation long term. So you are constipated, it's about figuring out, okay, why am I constipated? You can look at your diet, hydration, I always say low hanging fruit. Are you drinking enough water? Are you eating enough? In this case, it would be soluble fiber is very helpful to draw in that water. So think chia seed, flax seed, think anything mushy, gushy, dragon fruit season. Did it pass already? But fig season is coming up. So figs, think of what's in season. Think of what's like mushy and soluble that likes to absorb water, and that'll draw water into your lumen and help you. If you do some of those low hanging fruits and you're still like, I'm still pushing and it's taking me hours. If you're that person who's like, I'm in the toilet for hours, and that's where you see those memes and like reels of like my kids and my wife are looking for me or my family can't find me because I'm stuck in the bathroom. You're constipated. You need to figure out why. Here's what not a lot of people talk about with constipation enough. It's that the longer you're leaving stool in your body, it's not just the stool. So if I think a lot of us have heard like the longer you're leaving stool in your body, the more inflammation you're producing, period. Right. So but it's not just the stool, it's the gases even coming off the stool. So it's funny, the more you're constipated, likely the worse your breath smells. If you also have bad breath, it could be your oral microbiome as well, yes, but it's also you are exhaling gases from just having stool in your system for so long. So if you have that, it's called halitosis, right? Yes, it can be if you're brushing and flossing and water and you're like, I have halitosis and I don't know what's going on. If you're constipated, that can also lead to bad breath. So it's the stool itself as well as the gases staying in your body too long that can cause inflammation. I'm seeing more comments from this person. Sorry, I was going down but I take okay. You're taking magnesium. Yeah, magnesium can help. Um, okay, yeah, you're in a rush. I'm seeing all this. I appreciate you sharing. This is great. Um, you can watch this. He says Wi-Fi. I don't know if you're a he or she. I can't tell by your picture, but go back on our YouTube, Mary's Health YouTube. This is live there as well. So if it goes away on our Instagram, you can watch my answer if you missed it. Um, so you can go every day. So he's saying he or she, I don't know, sorry, but I go every day because I take magnesium oxide. But it sounds like it's not complete. So you can still go every day, but if it's not complete and if you're straining and pushing, you're still constipated, even if you go every day. So there's people who like, I go every 5 days. And then there's people who go, I go every day, but it's not complete. Both of you are constipated. It's just a different form of constipation. Okay, she 42-year-old female. Hi. Okay. Yeah. So you're just and if you have kids, again, this is not medical advice. I know this is general. Go to marytalk.com, make an appointment, ideally, but also female. So if you're a female, if you have kids. So if you have kids, you a lot of women overlook their pelvic floor. So this is why a lot of women take Pilates. Pilates are very helpful for your pelvic floor. There's pelvic floor therapy. Kids, having kids, think about it. You're pushing your child using your pelvic floor, and your pelvic floor, just like any, so you have 3 kids. Yes. On top of the stress from 3 kids, also having those 3 kids can also do a tremendous amount of disservice and service to your pelvic floor. So you might want to look into that, because if your pelvic floor is weak or even overly tense and tightened, you're going to have these constipation issues. So especially females who've had one or more children, look into pelvic floor, kind of dive deeper. We can help with that as well. Go to marytalk.com. You've done pelvic floor therapy. Okay. So again, this is where again low hanging fruit, and we're going process of elimination, your diet and your hydration, and what you're on this supplement that. So then we go deeper and deeper and deeper, and And is okay. And then you're saying low testosterone. So yeah, we go into the hormones, depending what testing you've done. This is the rabbit hole. I do want to make a video on our process, and that'll help other practitioners as well as patients to understand our process. But essentially, our process is we do the low hanging fruit, and we go higher and higher, or deeper and deeper, however you want to look at it, into the rabbit hole. And we're big on also testing and not guessing of going, oh, you have low testosterone. Let's see what's going on. Low ferritin. How's your thyroid? Your TSH, T4, T3, and we go deeper and deeper and deeper. We don't like to do all that testing up front because maybe you don't need half of it. We first get to know you. We get to know all this information, and then we go, okay, this is the best next step because you seem stuck. You're like, I've been doing pelvic floor. Maybe you are taking iron or not, and this, and you're like, what the heck's going on? I'm frustrated. Well, yeah, it's very frustrating. It can be very complex. We've been doing this over decades, so we have a system in place while keeping you as an individual to overcome all this. I love it. That's all that's wrong. I've been trying to find this problem for 6 years now. Right. So think about, and that's why. And I know a lot of you, well, if you have PPO insurance, a lot of our patients use their PPO insurance, HSA, FSA, but even we have a lot of patients, over like 50% of our patients pay out of pocket as well, because a lot of people get, I'd rather figure this out in a year than 3 years, than 4 years, than 6 years. We've had people who struggle with IBS for 20 years and then find us and they're like, oh my gosh, I've been dealing with this for 20 years. Finally, I feel better than I have in 20 years. And I'm not just, this isn't like an infomercial, guys. This is a podcast, but it's like that. These are real problems. So real testimonies. Okay, so yes, I don't know your name, but Showplux72. Please reach out. I mean, it doesn't hurt if you go to marytalk.com and even register. We get to know you. There's no commitment. You can register for our private practice, and we can see what's what and if it's a good fit. But um, with that, we do want to share, we have some really great colonoscopy pictures from patients of like before and afters of, I mean, there's so much we want to share. It's just like the time to do all of this, but we do want to share that of like biofilms and colonoscopies and just amazing, amazing testimonies, because it's like, do you want to just keep trying to figure this out on your own for years and years and years, or decades and decades and decades? Or again, do this like as soon as possible. It's like, it's up to you at the end of the day. I know when my car is broken, I'm not going to sit there and try to become a mechanic. I can do an oil change. I can change a tire. Sure. I can do something. I can change a filter if it's not too crazy. I can do some things. I'm fairly handy. But my passion, my love is doing this, Married to Health. I'm not going to sit there and change my carburetor or get into the weeds. I sure I can do it. I can watch YouTube videos and listen to podcasts and get books and all that. And it's going to take me way longer than taking it to like Toyota, and I'm there for a couple of hours and then I'm gone, right? It's up to you, right? But ultimately, we want all of you to be empowered. You should be knowledgeable. You should know when a mechanic's ripping you off versus not, and going like, wait a minute, that seems weird. Or I kind of know some about this. That doesn't seem right. Let me go somewhere else and get a second opinion. Yes, all of you should be at that level, ideally, but all of you do not have to be experts, because it'll take you 6 years just to be an expert and then another amount of time to fix yourself. But what testing do we do? Great question. We do everything. From basic labs to hormone testing. Again, we are dietitians. However, we have relationships with companies that allow us to do this testing. Again, depending what location you are, like New York, for example, is more strict. Canada can be more strict in certain areas. So we'll walk you through all that. But we do not do food sensitivity testing. That is a waste of your time and money. I will say that. For the most part, a lot of testing we do are breath testing. We can do some stool testing if need be. We are very conservative with our testing. Our mantra when it comes to testing is, we don't want to make you spend money on testing if it's not going to change your care plan and outcomes. If you're stuck, if it is going to change care plan and outcomes, we do the testing. And it can be everything from a urinalysis with hormones, a heavy metal, like I said, stool, breath, you name it. under the sun, and all that can add up to thousands and thousands of dollars with all that testing. But again, that's why we guide you on this. We understand. I mean, there's some patients who want to do that. Like, I want all the testing. We're like, okay. There's some patients who are like, I'm on a budget. What do I need? And we're like, yep, we love that. And so we guide you through that. So yes, testing can be extremely helpful, especially if you're frustrated. And like, I've been trying to figure this out for so long. Um, and they're saying, I've treated SIBO multiple times with antibiotics and herbs. So SIBO is one form of a dysbiosis. You're not doomed. You're not doomed. Let me tell you that. They're saying, I think I'm doomed. No. SIBO is one type of dysbiosis. There are multiple types of dysbiosis. You can even have two types of dysbiosis at the same time, which can make it even trickier. And there's a time to use antibiotics, there's a time to use herbs. Because yeah, for example, if you're having histamine issues, you might not want to use herbs. Antibiotics can be better, but antibiotics without the right understanding and protocol and approach, antibiotics typically have a 70% relapse rate, meaning if you don't know what type of dysbiosis you have, you don't really know what's going on, you're just going to a general gastro is like, oh, you have some SIBO or this overgrowth, here's an antibiotic, you're 70% likely to be back in 3 months with the same problems. And then some gastro, or I should say most gastros will give you more antibiotics. And then in 3 months you come back and you get more antibiotics and you're just in this merry-go-round, right? This vicious cycle. However, when you do understand, oh, this is the type of dysbiosis I have, oh, this is the lifestyle aspects, some supplements, nutrition that can help, the relapse rate is much, much lower, if not eliminated, depending on what's going on. So that is huge. That is the key, right? So that is what you want. I can't believe I've been talking just me for an hour. This is great. I love the questions. I see you've done Dutch testing. Yeah, Dutch testing can be helpful as well, looking at hormones. But again, your microbiome is the hormone recycling center. Your microbiome is a hormone facilitator. A beautiful analogy I like to use is like the foods and prebiotics, like the soil and compost. The probiotic is like the seed, right, of these probiotic microbes that do all these great things. And then the tree or the plant growing the fruit, whether it's bell pepper or cucumber or peaches and apples, are the postbiotics. However, we forget in between, those fruits and those vegetables have flowers, and those flowers need pollinators and pollen. Those are your hormones and neurotransmitters. So this is how it all comes together of like your gut bugs and your microbiome, and then these probiotics we've identified, but also your hormones and neurotransmitters that seed all these beautiful things that create the synergistic effect, right? So that's a beautiful analogy. The garden is an endless analogy of how this all works, right? You need the healthy soil, you need the healthy plant, you need the healthy flowers and pollinators, your hormones and neurotransmitters, and then you get the beautiful fruit, and the cycle all starts over again. So that is very good. Someone saying aloe vera juice, can we take it? Yeah, aloe vera is great. That is the soluble. That is like one of the kings of soluble fiber. If you're constipated and you do like an aloe vera gel, again, this is not medical advice. I don't know, but there's different types of constipation. But in general, like if I had aloe vera juice in here, I would drink it and be like, yeah, it's great. It's wonderful. It's helpful. Um, okay. Yeah, there. So Shop Lux 72, you're getting in the weeds there. I don't want to tell you what to do because I don't know. So part of it is like if I tell you what to do and I don't know everything out there, that's why you need to become a patient so we can legally say, "Oh, you're our patient, you're under our guidance." I can get my registration taken away and get into trouble. So if I'm guiding you and you're not a patient, this is just general, like I'm saying generally, aloe vera juice is great. I'm not saying, hey, this is, so it's very different than me saying this is how much aloe vera juice to take and this is what it's going to do. It's going to do this and that and this, and take this much and your constipation is going to go away by this much. No, it's not what I'm saying, right? Generally, aloe vera juice is great. Aloe vera gel can be great. Again, I don't know all the ins and outs of what's going on, but yeah, How much poop? Now, this question I can answer. How much poop is normal to poop per day? Yeah, everyone has a normal amount. There's general guidelines, so it's usually 1 to 3 times per day, and you usually want like a type 4 to 5 is okay on the Bristol stool stool. I've been talking too long. Stool chart. All right. Should I pull it up? You guys want to look at some poop? If you aren't familiar with the Bristol stool chart, look it up. You can Google it and you'll see images of, hopefully it's cartoon. It's usually drawings of poop, but yeah, type 4, type 3 is okay. Type 5 is you're getting in the weeds of like, I'm constipated. So type 4, type 3 are generally what you're shooting for, right? You want like a nice cohesive log that you're not pushing out, that is well formed, it can float, it can sink a little bit, and it's all good. The color's nice and brown. It's not red or green or all these different colors, right? And right, that's what you want. So um the amount of stool per day will vary with your size, with how much you're eating. um Literally, I know this is TMI for some, but we talk about this all the time, but like, if I have a day where I'm very busy, or there's days also, again, your hormones will dictate this, where you're just not as hungry, my volume of stool is less because I've eaten less. But usually, the volume of your stool, a lot of it is made up composition wise of microbes. That's how many microbes in your body is dead microbes. Your stool's made up of, yes, some food waste, dead microbes, fiber. It's quite a nice composition. It's not just like food, right? So there's a mix there. So that there's a lot of variables. Thoughts about seed probiotics for constipation? Yeah, and so seed is really cool. I will say in general, we do like seed. They're what's called a symbiotic, where they're like the synergistic probiotic. They're not just a probiotic, they're like a prebiotic, postbiotic, probiotic all in one. And their capsule design is really cool. I do like it. For constipation, yes, like generally speaking, but most important is to understand, okay, why do I have my constipation? Is my constipation primarily diet related, meaning I need that insoluble, soluble fiber? Is my constipation pelvic floor related? Is my constipation even like neurologically related, right? Is my motility on a neurological scale off for some other reason? So there's different reasons why you'll have constipation. You should know that first because look, this all goes back to like, you're going to spend money on seed, you're spending money on magnesium oxide, you're spending money on pelvic floor, you're spending money and time and resources. I would argue, and I would recommend you first know why. It's like targeting, right? Do you want to target like a sniper, or do you want just a shotgun effect? I would recommend being like a sniper, being very methodical, very focused, and you're going to get more bang for your buck versus trying all these different things and hoping something works. First and foremost, that's what we help our patients do. Let's really target, and we're going to get more bang for our buck versus trying all these things. And same thing with testing. You can try all the tests in the world, and maybe only one or two were actually useful. No, we'd rather help you do the one or two that are useful, and then if we need to, add more. So, um, motility issues. So another question. I love all your questions. These are a lot of questions. Yeah. Would gluten-free help with constipation? That's interesting. I mean, so issue with gluten can be glyphosate. There are glyphosate residues if you're eating wheat products, especially in the US. There's definitely glyphosate residues on a lot of food products, and this is more and more people are talking about this. We've always talked about this, but so that can be a cause of some motility issue long term. um, Wheat is also high FODMAP. So if you're having a problem with FODMAP, so overall, I mean, generally, yeah, you can try going gluten free, even if you're finding you're more gluten sensitive and just intolerant to the gluten a bit. So yeah, that could be overall that could be helpful. Is motility issue fixable? 100%. Motility is fixable. You have this migrating motor complex. Your body is made to move your bowels using these beautiful finger-like projections in the same direction. Think of like a piano player going like that's your gut. It's like for those just listening, if you've ever seen someone play the piano and they just go like on a wave down that piano, that's your gut. It wants to go from the mouth to the anus, not the other direction. It doesn't want to get stuck. And when that pianist um, flows, if they stop or mess up, it doesn't sound right, right? So that's your gut. It wants to do that, and if you'll let it, it'll go back to that. Um, yeah, and seeing a chiropractor can be help, especially for your vagus nerve. Chiropractic care has been shown to help. So there's a lot there. So I think we can keep going, but that was really good. A lot of great questions, but again, look at this. I love it. Shout out Tony. What's up, Tony? Tony, and this is man, I couldn't have planned this any better. Rachel has helped me so much, very knowledgeable. Thank you for everything you do. Oh man, we so appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, this is, I mean, really, it's getting to that. You guys, there's so much out there. I get it. There's so much out there from supplements to even apps and programs and practitioners, and you can try it all. And at the end of the day, you look at your bank account and go, I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars, and you're trying all these things. It's your time and resources. I highly recommend you just go, okay, who's going to help me focus? Who's going to help me say, okay, where do I start? That is working with someone who's very knowledgeable. Just type in Married to Health, look at our reviews. Thank you, Tony. Tony, leave us a review on Google if you haven't. Go to Google and just type in "Married to Health," and you'll see our Google reviews. You'll see our Yelp reviews. Um, and that's what you want to find, whether it's us or someone else, whoever. You want someone who's going to say, who's going to help focus you and go, okay, you're already spending time and resources. Let's just focus it so that way you get this done in 6 months versus 6 years. So that way you get this done. And maybe even we have patients, I mean, really stellar patients who it's very much just low hanging fruit. And they're like, my issues are gone. And they see us 1 or 2 times. And it's like, great. Like you're doing great. Go for it. And maybe they'll check in once in a while, right? Those are the stellar patients. I don't want to call them stellar patients, but like it's just they have the low hanging fruit and that easy, like great. Then you have the way more complex patients where again they've been dealing with this for 20 years, lots of damage has been done, but there's still hope for their motility. There's always hope for, I mean, just so much. Thanks, Tony. Awesome, man. Thank you. Um, yeah, and so I've seen more comments coming on of like Motil Pro and all this B12 bitters. I have hyperkinetic gallbladder. Yeah, but constipated makes no sense. Yeah, I mean, no, well, that can make sense. Man, this is you're an interesting, yeah, you're a great case study. I mean, we have a lot of patients like you, and our interns use them as case studies because they're just so complex. There's a lot going on. And again, this is where, if anything, what you're saying, I don't know your real name, but I'm gonna call you Shop Lux 72. You're seeing how it can get because it's not just your gut. Your gut, like I said, is connected to your hormones. It's connected to your gallbladder. It's connected to your pancreas, to your liver. This is where, if you're an anatomy nerd or another health professional, you'd be like, oh yeah, I remember this in physiology and anatomy. All of these things are connected. So the longer you wait to take care of your constipation, or if it's something simple or small, and a lot of you, it's not your fault. Like a lot of your parents didn't know, and you've been constipated since you were 2, right? We get those stories all the time. My parents have told me I've been constipated since I can remember. And it's like your parents didn't know what to do. They're probably, who knows? And you've been doing this a long time. However, the longer you wait to go, okay, symptoms, what are you telling me? Oh, let me find someone who can help me understand this language of symptoms. Then those symptoms are likely to just continue to inflate and affect other areas because it's all connected. I should bring up, we even make a model for our presentations. Again, we're doing some really cool presentations coming up at conferences. I'm going to try to find this really quick while I'm looking at Tony is saying having a nutritionist is part of longevity. I totally agree. If you need help, having Look, I'm a big believer, everyone listening, watching, wise counsel. We are told to seek wise counsel. I seek wise counsel. We have an accountant. I seek wise counsel in family, right? In elders in our church. You can seek wise counsel. I seek wise counsel for my car. Like, we don't have to do everything. Okay. I think it's very normal to have that thought process in areas of like plumbing or like things around the house, right? If our pipes burst, I'm not gonna fix it. Like, we even I actually tell a funny story about that. We even had like our shower break and like it wouldn't stop dripping. And I'm trying to fix it because it was like an emergency, but I got a plumber and then it was fixed and beautiful, right? We seek wise counsel. We're told to seek wise counsel because you're going to eliminate the headache, the struggle, the stress. And that wise counsel is going to help you you're still going to grow and learn, but in a much more efficient way. Why not apply that to your health and nutrition? Why? It's up to you, right? And so to Tony's comment, like how he said it, having a nutritionist is part of longevity. Yeah, because part of longevity is wisdom. If you don't typically if you don't have wisdom, you're not going to have longevity. That's why if we're speaking on longevity really quickly, the blue zones are areas where people live the longest. And I know people can say, oh, the blue zones aren't scientific and blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, though, I like a majority of the data of the blue zones. It's very interesting. But my point being with the blue zones is that it is nutrition, but it's also community. It's your elders. It's your spiritual life. It's having that wisdom. Wisdom is very much connected to longevity, and wisdom is very much connected to seeking wise counsel, whether it's your car, your plumbing, but first and foremost, your health. Like, what's more important, your car or your health? Like, I mean, I would hope we'd all say our health, right? Like, I would hope we would all say, my health is more important. Um, I'm trying to find. Oh, I'm still. I can just search, but I want to show this one thing, and maybe we'll be done. But um, we call it the gut microbiome spiral, and so I'm gonna pop this up really quickly for those watching. You will see this. If you're just listening, go on our YouTube and you can watch this or see what I'm talking about. But this is the gut microbiome spiral, guys. If you're watching, you'll see the GI tract we put. I mean, the gut is the epicenter. It's the nexus. It is where it's at. But then we have this spiral, and so it's everything from mesenteric system and liver and pancreas, gallbladder, appendix, bladder, uterus, ovaries. I said that mesenteric system, spleen, prostate, kidneys, circulatory system, lungs, and you see it's spiraling out. It's spiraling out all the way going to your skin. There is a gut skin connection, even your spouse and your children and your home and your community and your vibes, right? So we have this spiral. So the good that happens here, green is good, yay, it's going out and wonderful. But unfortunately, the same can happen with bad, right? And this is where you'll see this. This is kind of the gut microbiome disease spiral where the bad that's happening in the gut can also spiral out, and it can happen in different ways. And this is where you'll see with men pancreatic issues. What's that called? Type 2 diabetes, right? You're diabetic, and then your liver, maybe you have fatty liver. I still call it fatty liver disease. It's another, they changed the name. I'm so used to fatty liver disease. Okay, sue me. Um, then kidneys, so you can get your GFR is not doing well, your kidney functions aren't doing well, your prostate, you're getting up in the middle of the night, and I'm speaking to men or women who have husbands, boyfriends, that this sounds familiar. They're peeing all night or they're on medication for their prostate and their high blood pressure and all. So you see how this spirals out, right? For women, let's say, let's go this path right here. Appendix, maybe you had your appendix removed, maybe you have irritable bladder as well. You're constantly urinating, or you drink a little caffeine, you constantly have to urinate. You get brain fog all the time. You can't remember, you're always forgetting, you feel stressed and anxious. So you see, I mean, hopefully this visual makes sense. And for those on Instagram, I know if you go to our YouTube later, you'll see this. Um, but it's a visual of how all of this is connected. And if what I'm saying makes sense, like, oh yeah, I do have overactive bladder, all the it's all connected to your gut. So, um, okay. Thank you all so much. If you enjoyed Good Gut Live, comment, like down below, and that's beautiful. We will continue doing Good Gut Live. We love doing this. I love doing this. Um, find us at marytout.com, connect with us. We do these lives every Friday, and you can find us, you can find Good Gut Live wherever you listen to podcasts. So if you subscribe, you'll never miss an episode. We have some great guests lined up. I know I mentioned that earlier, but if you're just joining now, we have a lot of great things, a lot of great talks, in person opportunities. So make sure you go to marytout.com and learn more. Thank you all. Thank you, Tony. Shout out Tony, man. Thank you. That was a perfect comment, and couldn't have planned it any better. We appreciate all of you helping you, whether one-on-one, whether you're listening on our Instagram or YouTube, wherever you're connected with us. Thank you. It is our mission to help you feel with each meal and heal with each meal. That's what we're all about. So thank you all so much. Until next time, have a beautiful Friday if you're watching live, and the rest of your weekend. And if you're watching on Google Live Podcast, have a beautiful Wednesday, because this usually drops Wednesday. Bye, everybody. See you soon.